Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Comic Source. I'm your host, Jace. Excited today to bring a returning creator, one of my favorite people, Leanne Krecic, otherwise known as Mongie, onto the show because there's exciting news about Let's Play, which is her digital series. Used to be on another platform, and it's come back on Tapas. So I'll put a link in the show notes, everybody. You can go and click there. It's a wonderful series, and actually introduced my sister to it for the first time at San Diego this year. Got a chance to meet Leanne. So for anybody who's not familiar, Leanne, first of all, I should say thanks for taking the time. It's been so long since we've had you on. But for anybody that's not familiar with Let's Play, I mean, I'm sure by now you have the elevator pitch down. Tell them what it's about.
Sure. Let's Play is a rom-com comic that is about a young woman named Sam Young, who is an indie game developer by night and a programmer by day for her father's company. And she creates her first ever game all through college, releases it for free on a platform called Indigeneer. And her game is played by a character named Marshall Law, who is a VTuber and a Let's Player, very popular. He's a rising star. He plays the game, plays it incorrectly, and gives her a really bad review. And his fans end up swarming her Indigeneer page and, as they say, zerged her page and like ruined her online reputation as developer, ruined her developer score, and basically kind of ended her indie career before it really started. And by the end of the first chapter, we find out he's moving in the apartment next door to her.
So if that sounds fun and complicated, everybody, that's the two great words to describe Let's Play. And, to hear Leanne talk about it, clearly, she's got the cred. She actually worked in IT for many years, much like myself, but left that very lucrative career to do this. So it's such a passion project. And like I mentioned before, it was on a previous platform, and for many reasons that you can go and research if you're curious about it. We don't want to get into them here. It moved from that platform. But that had to be an agonizing choice for you, Leanne, because it meant that you couldn't actually release any new content, for a while till your contract was up. So now it is on Tapas, and you're re-releasing all the previous episodes, and then we're going to have new episodes next year. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
So I have to imagine that, you had such a huge fan base. They've anxiously been anticipating this, but you've anxiously been anticipating the release as well. Have you been working on new episodes all this time?
No, I haven't, because I was working on other stuff, and also I wasn't making an income for it, so I didn't have the financial nest egg, I guess, to put towards paying talent to help me work on it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I could have arguably just done all the inking, all the roughs, all the inkings, all the flats, all the colors, all the shading on my own over the course of the break. But I was also trying to take that time to recover from working 60 to 100 hours every week.
Right.
And because repetitive motion injury is a thing. But so between all of that kind of stuff, I haven't been working on new stuff. The story's already written. Like, I already know how it's going to go and how it's going to finish. So that's already done. But in terms of like actual pen or stylus to tablet, it's not done.
So you have time, though, because it's not coming back till next year, right? Because, again, we're on a release schedule for Tapas with the previous episodes, of which I think there's 187-ish.
177.
So 77, okay. So a little while to go, and then the new episodes are going to come back. With it being on this new platform, I've been rereading it on the new platform myself and looking at the comments. Obviously, a lot of your fans are there, and they're super excited for it to come back. It feels like there's a real energy, and you've had that break that you mentioned. Like, how excited are you, and how re-energized are you to dig back in to this story and like almost like coming home to these characters that you lived with for so long?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled to get back to the story. I'm thrilled to get back to working and like sharing, what I've written. I think it's kind of I really don't know what the right word is. Not melancholic. It's there's so much about the story I love, but there's so much ingrained like tough times relating to the comic that it's like I have to get that passion back. Like, dealing with the platform, dealing with, hostile readers, hate fans. I get death threats every week. And it's just like, I'm trying to get that love back. And I mean, at the end, I still love the characters. I still love the story. I still love the comic. But it's like to get that passion and that drive back. It's been a slow process, but it's like starting to brew back up, seeing the anime and, working on promo stuff for Kickstarter. It's like I'm finding that love again, and that's great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I imagine you'll feel even more of that when you get to the new episodes that fans haven't had a chance to read, because it does have such a huge following. And I totally get what you're saying. It was such an unfortunate situation. And I really want to stress that everybody that this isn't how you would have liked it to have gone.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to just kind of the situation you're in, that you were willing to leave and knowing that you couldn't work on it for such a long time and not have that income. Obviously it was an agonizing decision, but one that you felt you had to make. So I really appreciate your integrity for that, and I really hope the fans understand as well. It needs to be said. It was such a tough choice, and I admire you for making it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. I had hoped that by me making that choice, it would have been better for other creators there. Like maybe the lessons would be learned possibly, but I figured there were things going on behind the scenes with other creators. I knew there was, but I think it's not improved.
Right.
But unfortunate, but I could not in good conscience continue there.
Yeah, fair. And I've kind of heard the same thing. Well, you did mention, and when I got a chance to see you at San Diego, you were kind enough to share some stories. You did mention the anime, which came out recently, which was amazing. It was in development for a long time, so it's available on Crunchyroll. Everybody, if you're familiar with that platform, and I know that was just such a moment for you to to travel and to be there at the premiere and what have you, and have all the fans. So, anything that you want to share with our audience about what that experience was like and seeing your characters? You couldn't have imagined when you started creating this, so long ago, that it would be this, anime from the same company that does, Pokemon and all these other really popular.
Never would have believed that.
Right.
I said at the Anime Expo during the panel, and I said, they're like, so what's it like? It's like a dream come true having an anime. And I'm like, it's not even a dream, because I never dreamed this would happen.
Right.
Like, this isn't be like, oh, this happens to other creators all the time, so it'll happen to me eventually. No, it was never that. And it was, so to compare, it would be like wishing on a star and it actually comes true. Or picking up a lamp at an antique store and a genie actually pops out when you rub it. So it's like, it's a wish come true. So it has been very surreal in a lot of ways. Like, I think this is I'm the first female creator who's had a web comic gone to an anime in Japan, I think. At least like there was something similar with Witchblade like 14, 15 years ago, but so it's like there's not like Wikipedia that I can jump on and be like, what do I expect?
Right.
Or what's the experience gonna be like? Or what's some advice? Like, who can I ask? It's not there. So, it's kind of paving this new road and bridge and hoping everything goes well, and like, the world's on fire right now, so it makes it really difficult to like be okay. Like, I have an American creator with a Japanese studio who's amazing, and so but there's like possible conflict in like how the world perceives things right now. So, but I have been so grateful for OLM in that they have taken the story and they've kind of put their own touch on it. So in like the character designs and how the story's formatted and the different flavor of certain things. Some of it has been amazing. Like, I love that they're focusing on like the guild more and the gaming aspect, and also the voice talent they've selected is absolutely freaking amazing. And so I've been very fortunate that they want me to be happy. And not everybody can say the same thing with their experience with adaptations of their title. And I've cried a lot, not because of like bad reasons, but like I'm a crier, right? So like the first time I heard it in a Zoom call when they were doing like the voice acting, I cried because it was in Japanese and it felt real. Like it was an anime. It wasn't like an anime light.
Right.
It was legit. And then at Anime Expo, I cried at, like, we did the first part of the panel was us speaking, and then the last 30 minutes of it was the premiere. I was in the behind the stage watching it on the TV and had, director Tony Yelso to my right, Japanese producer ladies to my left, and I'm crying. And I'm like, I'm not blubbering or anything, but like water is falling from my face. And like, I think I made them slightly uncomfortable because they're Japanese. I am emoting in a way that they don't usually see a lot. So, but they were very sweet. I hugged all of them at least twice. It was great. And it's been a really amazing experience.
Yeah, that's so awesome, and I think it's a credit to you and the characters that you've created. I mean, these characters, they're just beloved, and there's so many people that really love them, and I feel like they're kind of friends, and so I'm really excited to have them show back up as well. And when I heard about this, because I knew that it wasn't anything that you expected, I kind of likened it to you won a race that you didn't even enter. In a way, like, it's so amazing. It's like winning the Indy 500 when you didn't even have a car in the race. It's absolutely amazing. So again, everybody, link in the show notes to Crunchyroll where you can go. Definitely encourage everybody to go and check it out. In terms of the actual characters, like we said, I think that this is a chance on Tapas for new people to discover these characters. And like I mentioned, I've been reading the comments. Have you been going through as the new episodes have dropped and been checking out fan reaction? Because again, I see returning fans there, but I see new fans as well.
I have learned the hard way not to read feedback, so I actually avoid it, which is a shame because I ultimately avoid good feedback too. But I think for a creator's well-being, or at least this creator's well-being, it's usually best not to go digging too deep into feedback. So no, I have not read the comments on Tapas. Hopefully it's positive. Like, I'll do an ocular pat down on social media to make sure I don't need to ban or delete anything.
Right.
But on like Tapas, no, I haven't read anything. So hopefully it's good.
What went into the decision to move over there and to keep it kind of on a digital platform that way? Is it just how you prefer? Because again, there's the Kickstarters as well, everybody that do really, really well. And I've backed them. I've got hard copies as well. And then obviously when you're at shows, you're selling
sign them.
Yeah, hard copies as well. So what went into that decision?
Well, there was a level of agreement with the anime that I would try to move to a studio that was, or to a platform that was, established and had a good audience already. And because I was tempted just to self-publish because I could just build my own platform.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have one I've already built. It's just not live. And so, but it has it's not live. So there's no audience. And, but with Tapas, I feel like they've got a good base so far. They've got wholesome readers. I was there temporarily when Let's Play first was released because I put it on Tapas and Webtoon at the same time, and both companies contacted me to become like a featured creator. I ended up going with Webtoon, but so now I'm technically back at Tapas. So it was, and I've worked with everybody I've worked with Tapas so far has been great. They're really excited. Listen to a lot of my concerns. Like, no platform's perfect. Everybody's got some concerns overall, but they listened to mine, took them very seriously. And I was like, look, if you're like, you be cool with me, I'll be very cool with you. Like, I'm a golden retriever, basically. So you give me love, I give you love.
Right.
Like, that's really all it takes. So it's been good so far.
Well, that's definitely been my experience. We've gotten a chance to get to know each other a little bit over the years, and you seem like somebody who you're a complete straight shooter, and I respect you for that. And it comes through in the work as well. And like as I said earlier, I'm highly anticipating those new episodes because when I was rereading recently, and I got to that episode, so I reread from the beginning. And which was a lot, but rereading it all and seeing the journey that you've taken Sam and Link and Marshall, and Charles on already, they've come so far, and I know they still have a ways to go. But as I mentioned earlier, they feel like friends, and I can't wait to sort of catch up with what they've been doing. You mentioned having knowing where the story was going and what have you. during this break, has anything changed? Whether it be because of the state of the world or just having a chance to, not to be too punny here, but to ruminate on the story.
Yeah.
Anything changed at all in your mind?
Um, no, I don't think so. I think that um, I want to like I'm far from perfect, obviously, as people have deduced on their own. And I think I want to have a good representation of in the comic of diverseness and, representation. I am trying to be more sensitive and cognizant, and I have I have in the break spoken with a lot of cultural advisors
Mm.
as my own form of research. So I, if there's anything, I'm going to approach it with more sensitivity to those things that I had before, which was I thought I was before. But again, nobody's perfect, and but ultimately, at the end of the day, with my characters, it's just like they're all good people. Like there's one character who's not good, and that's Marshall's father. Like he's an a-hole, but malignant narcissist. But all the characters are good, and they're just love each other. They're friends. They're good people, and um, I want people to love them for who they are, right? So I think that's probably the only thing that's changed. Otherwise, the plot, the story, some elements might have rearranged a little bit, but that is not unusual, even while I'm in the process of working on it. The rest of it's going to stay pretty consistent.
Yeah, what's interesting is not that it was ahead of its time, but you kind of had to be in that world, that world of indie development or video games or that sort of thing. And there's so many different kind of little niches that it touches on. You mentioned the guild before and what have you, and Marshall obviously reviewing games. I feel like, when I was reading those early, rereading those early episodes, a lot of those things you were touching on are sort of even more mainstream now than they were, then when you started it. So I feel like it can resonate with even more fans now. So I encourage everybody, again, link in the show notes. If you haven't checked it out, go and give it a try. It's such an amazing story. And I think because of the diverseness and because of, how endearing these characters are, that everybody can find it, relatable on one level or another. And I, again, like having a chance to introduce my sister to you at San Diego and get her the first volume, like I don't know why it never occurred to me how much she would love it. And I think I even sent you an email, like she devoured that thing like
Good.
immediately, and then was like, okay, do you have the others? Can you ship them to me? Where can I, read it or whatever? So I think a lot of new readers will have that experience discovering it on Tapas. So again, I encourage everybody to go and check it out. In terms of your art style and getting back into that flow, you mentioned wanting to pace yourself and, not have those same sort of injuries you had before. Have you started to get into the swing of things from that aspect yet?
Yeah, I mean, during last year, I was working on a title called Dragon King Oath that was going to be on Manta. That didn't end up working out for a number of reasons, but I wanted that comic to be my best drawn comic to date. It was very intricate, very detailed. There was a lot of work that went into it. I worked with a studio to help color it. So I learned a lot, I think, from working on that title. And like, I think with webtoon creators or like web comic creators in general who are cranking out episodes every week, you're always trying to cut corners without cutting quality. So I think I've learned to do that in a lot of ways. And I think I've also learned to like give up a lot of stuff because it's hard for me to trust others to like perform at a quality that I would expect of myself, I guess. So it's like I've had to like give up parts of my baby to other people and trust them to get it done. And that helps decrease the time that I'm spending every week, like working on it. But working on Dragon King Oath and also like my style now, if anything, I personally think my style's gotten better over the 3 years. I'm more like for any artist, or at least this one, it's like some things just click in your head. Like I was always terrible at drawing elbows. I don't know why. Elbows are my bane. And now I'm like, oh, this is how you draw elbows, right? And then like I wish I could do action or, make characters seem less mannequin-like. I'm always working on that. I don't personally think I'm a very good artist. I'm always trying to improve. But like I talk with like Ryan Benjamin and Sanford Green, who all do amazing action stuff. And they've given me some pointers and stuff. And it's just like, it's really just at the end of the day, if it doesn't click for you, it's not going to progress. And I feel like some things have clicked with me since the last time I was working on the title.
Well, I think it's a style all its own. Sometimes it's a little more realistic. Sometimes you're leaning more into the caricature and what have you. And as long as there's plenty of Bowser on the page, the best boy, then we're all going to be happy.
He's the best boy.
Yes. So
I think they did a really good job in their design for Bowser in the anime. I think he's really super cute. Like I've seen the design of him as his dragon form and then his like little dragon form for Ruminate, and he's so cute. I mean, of course the studio that does Pokemon's going to draw Bowser cuter than I ever could.
Right.
And I'm willing to accept that fact. Like that's fine. But like what is also cute about the anime is here's some deep facts for you, like deep lore. In Japan, Bowser in Super Mario Brothers isn't called Bowser. It's King Koopa. But in the US, it's called Bowser.
Mm-hmm.
So in the anime, they were thinking about changing his name to Koopa instead of Bowser. And there's like this back and forth. They're like, which one would you prefer? And I was like, I think Koopa's cute. Like that's what I also kind of like the homage to how it is with gaming, because like Let's Plays about gaming.
Right.
And they're like, okay, we're just gonna stick with Bowser. I was like, okay, well, whatever. Like,
why'd you ask?
But it was really cute. I was like, oh, Koopa's cute. So.
That's amazing. We kind of I mentioned the journey that they've been on, and it definitely seemed like in season 3. Not that the supporting cast expanded, but we got a little bit more, of Angela and Dee and what have you. And I really appreciated that because, again, I think it leans into the idea of diversity and people getting a chance to kind of, see somebody that they can relate to in the story. So I'm sure we can expect to see a lot of the supporting cast in season 4, kind of show up and be the old friends that we're familiar with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the platform that should not be named, I wanted to focus more on the supporting characters, and I was told not to do that. So I pushed it for characters like Angela and Link, but I wanted to show more Abe, I wanted to show more Vicky, more Olivia, Edgar, like all these characters. Why is Olivia so filthy rich? Like, I know why.
Mm-hmm.
I know her story, but I wasn't really allowed to put it in there. So I don't think I'm going to be able to put all of that stuff in there because I'm going to stretch out like into multiple seasons, which I can see it being 5 seasons instead of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had said in an interview, like I was probably going to wrap it up at 4th season, but that was when I was still there and I wanted to leave.
Right.
So, but I could easily push it into 5, and it might work out that way when I highlight more of the supporting characters. But yeah, like I want to, if anything, like do one shots,
right. Yeah.
Show these characters. I did a Bowser episode once because I was out of town. I was traveling for a con, and Bowser's easy to draw. I can do that in a week easily. And there was a lot of disgruntled readers for not showing more of the romance. So, like, if I was to do it, I wouldn't make it a main part of the story. I'd do it like as a one shot.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority because I feel like I know we're going to get there with the the romance, with Link and Charles and Marshall and Sam. Obviously, I know we're going to get there, but I'm so curious to learn more about these other characters. So, whether it's a spin-off or one shots, I mean, personally, I'd be all for it. I love it because you've shown your commitment to this with the forced break, but then still coming back, even as you mentioned with kind of the unfortunate baggage that it has that you're trying to overcome. But I know you're committed to finishing it. So if it takes, I'm all for as many more seasons as you're, as you're willing to produce.
Well, it's definitely something I had to discuss with OLM Studio because, if it gets if there's an interest in renewing for more seasons, it's good for them to know like how long is this series going to
Right.
be and like what is to expect. I told them how I plan on ending it, and they were dumbfounded. Like they were speechless for a good 30 seconds. And I think they thought it was mistranslated for a second. And then they got really excited once they processed it. They're like, how are we going to do that? So it was fun.
Awesome. Well, right now, again, everybody on Tapas, the older episodes that have already seen release on the previous platform are being released every Wednesday. I think 3 episodes a week. When it comes time for the new ones, there's no way you can maintain that pace, right? So is it the plan to go back to 1 episode a week?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I know that at the release rate it's going right now, like, the new episode probably wouldn't start until June if we follow the current release schedule, but I felt like that was way too far. So we did discuss that, like, I'm going to get a good cache of episodes done. And then, so, like, I can breathe. And then, um, when I'm like, okay, let's go live, then we'll just like absolutely just dump a bunch of episodes. Like, well, instead of like 3 a week, it might be like 8 a week or
Right.
something like that. So we can just wrap it up really quick and then come out with the new stuff. Like, we don't have to maintain it at the rate it is now. That's just what we decided to comfortably do and not overwhelm readers doing too much at once.
Well, I'm all for you. I mean, as a content creator, in a much different way than you are, I'm all for you, getting as many in the can as you can so you don't have to kill yourself, later on. As much as I'm anticipating the new episodes, I want you to be healthy and continue to create. So I'm all for that. And everybody will be letting you know on the Comic Source when it's time for these to come out, because I can't wait to chat about them. But again, exciting times. Again, everybody, link in the show notes to Tapas and also to Crunchyroll for the anime. And as we're winding down here, Leanne, anything else you want to share with our audience? Anything else you want people to know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really grateful that people have been patient. Probably 99% of people are very understanding, and respectful of like my decision and why I'm did what I did. I think that my style has improved, so hopefully the characters are looking better, and I don't cringe as much when I look at my art because I can't even stand looking at the old stuff now. I'm just like, but and also I think like people often ask like, what's going to happen with the pairings? How's it going to who's Sam going to end up with? And like all the characters in Let's Play are leveling up. Like, especially Sam. She's grown so much since the beginning of the story. And like characters like Charles, who is now in kind of a sticky situation and like dealing with his own traumas. He's a boss character, so now we're finally at a point where he can level up. So the question is like, what's his story? What path is he going to choose? And but I will tell people that if you're worried about the ending and you're anxious about how things are going to end, everybody's going to be delightfully surprised with the ending of the story. So there's no be anxious, don't be panicky about who Sam ends up with. Everybody's going to be happy. So just like, don't worry.
Yeah, don't be in a hurry for it to end, everybody. Enjoy the ride. Well, I want to finish with this. I mentioned before we started recording, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to run into it at New York Comic Con, but I know you had a panel where you kind of, officially announced, hey, it's coming back and what have you. And I'm sure there were a lot of Let's Play fans there, and they got a sneak peek at some season 4 stuff, and also got a chance to see some of the anime. So, what was the reaction? What was the energy in the room at that panel? I was so sad I had another commitment I couldn't go.
It was great. Like, it was a great panel. Everybody was excited and like engaged and laughing, and you just look around and see a bunch of twinkle in eyes. Like, it was great. It was really, really good. And afterwards, a lot of people came up to me afterwards and got signings off to the side and photos, and a lot of people are very encouraging, and it was a really, really good panel. I was really, really blessed and fortunate to have such, great supportive readers.
Awesome. Well, as a Let's Play fan, I can kind of speak for the Let's Play fan community and say, yeah, we're also excited that it's coming back. So, thanks so much for the time, Leanne. It's always great to talk to you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And I'll put, again, links in the show notes, everybody, that you can go and check them out. And I'll put links to. Are you that active on social media these days? I don't see.
I post and run. I don't really engage. Like I'll like stuff occasionally, but I don't really do much with it.
But, fair enough, which I totally get, considering, as you mentioned, the challenges that you face. So, again, links in the show notes, everybody, to the anime and the Tapas platform. So you can go and click there to check it out. So, again, thanks, Leanne. It was great.
Yep. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And to everybody out there watching, whether you're checking us out on YouTube or maybe you're listening audio only, we appreciate the support as always, and we'll talk to you next time.